Good morning, sports fans. You're listening to 96.9 FM WHYR LP Baton Rouge Community Radio.
This is Eric Hatfield along with Coach Perry Daniels, and we are here to bring you the latest, the greatest, the best, and the most entertaining in high school, college, and professional sports. You are listening to Louisiana All American Sports. It's so fresh and so clean of a Saturday morning. Good morning, Baton Rouge. Good morning, World Wide Web. This is Louisiana All American Sports on 96.9 WHYR LP Baton Rouge Community Radio. This is Eric Hatfield for Coach Perry Daniels, and it is another beautiful Saturday morning. We are in Christmas season. We are alive and in full effect, and we are ready to chit-chat about some sports with you all day out there in Baton Rouge and the world, all around the world. 225-343-9927, 225-343-9927. If you want to get in on the action, we have a whole morning chock full of sports. It's been a very busy weekend in the sports world. Thanksgiving is always ushering in the most wonderful time of the year. It's the busiest time of year in the stores. It's the busiest time of year on the gridiron. And we have plenty of gridiron action to go along with your Black Friday action. As the NFL is coming into the home stretch, the high school playoffs are coming into the home stretch, and college football is coming down to judgment time.
Playoffs?
Playoffs.
Did you say playoffs?
Playoffs? Are you kidding me?
Well, the playoffs are here. They're winding down. We had some big games last night. Last night in the world of high school sports in Louisiana.
We should probably get our audience queued up for the playoffs as it is that time of the year. Let's get this set off right.
Let's do it, man. Let's do it. I'm hyped. Man, this is a great time of year. You've got high school football playoffs.
Playoffs? Don't talk about it. Playoffs? You kidding me? Playoffs?
There he is.
All right, go with it, Perry.
Episcopal, the #1 ranked team in Division II, loses. They fall to Hannon 11-0 and finish the season 11-1, one game short of the Superdome. They lost 12-7 last night to Hannon. Hannon advances to play Calvary Baptist Thursday night in the Superdome. Mangum beat our good friends in White Castle, Eric. Beat them pretty good, too, man. 56-26 to advance to the Class 1A state semifinal.
That's disappointing.
Mangum had 400 yards rushing.
Wow.
400 yards rushing. Coach Jackson, Coach Thomas, hey, man, congratulations on a good season. You guys did well. Unfortunately, your season ended last night. Also, Plaquemine season comes to an end.
Oh, man.
Julius Marasalin gets hurt on the first play of the game from scrimmage.
Yeah.
He plays sparingly the rest of the game. Plaquemine finishes their season 10-3. They lose to Landry Walker. Landry Walker advances to Class 4A. Yeah, they combined two schools down there,
Right.
Old Perry Walker
Right.
and LB Landry.
Right.
And they're headed to the semifinals, man.
Wow, how about that?
Isn't that something? They've got to take on Carr next week, though, the defending state champions.
That's going to be a good game.
Yes,
I
that
think
should
it's a really
be.
good game.
That should be. That's a battle of the West Bank.
Right. Or the best bank in this case. That's good. I'm glad to see a school out of, a lot of schools out of the city of New Orleans traditionally don't advance that far in the playoffs. You just have so
Unless
much.
you're John Curtis.
Well, right. Well, I mean, in other words, city of like
New
John.
Orleans proper.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
Right. Thank you for correcting me.
Okay.
A lot of the talent is concentrated and sometimes exported to the suburbs,
Right.
and the city proper doesn't have the concentration of talent needed to advance. Even though a lot of talented individuals come out of the city.
there,
So
like-
I'm glad to see. Yeah.
Yes.
God, the list is
St. Aug.
Yeah. Right. Or Newman, Peyton Manning.
Right,
But,
right.
But I'm glad to see, and I'll stop blabbing in a sec, but I'm glad to see New Orleans, the city of, is advancing on the playoffs.
They are on the map, man. Well, locally in Baton Rouge, man, we had Dutchtown, we had Central going into last night's game, still keeping hope alive for the Baton Rouge area in the Class 5A classification. And Dutchtown In District 5-5A, they lose to Destrehan 23-7.
Well,
What can you say?
I hope the LHSAA investigates the game and they had bugs inside of Destrehan High School just to make sure that Destrehan was on the level.
Those of you joining us for the first time this week, a couple of weeks ago, Destrehan was investigated for spying, breaking into the Huddle system, a software system where schools upload their videos from last week's games, and they tampered with it. LHSAA did an investigation, found them guilty, suspended a couple of the coaches, but the football team is still rolling. They won last night 23-7, and they're headed to the semifinals. Covington is the Baton Rouge 5A killer. Last night they beat EA. I mean, not last night. 2 weeks ago they beat EA, and last night they took out Central.
Oh boy, well that's a killer. That's a dagger for the Baton Rouge area.
That is.
Figured, you knew that EA without Sion Palele,
right?
That was gonna be a weak spot, and that when you have inches deciding the champions at that level, and that was those were probably the inches that made the difference there. Little surprised they ran over Central with that running attack they have and those receivers.
And with that defense, remember now, Central held West Monroe last week to 0 points.
Right, shocking.
Powerhouse West Monroe.
Right. So that tells us those boys are for real.
Right. So that's a 12-14 victory by Covington. That they're going to advance to take on Parkway, who defeated Zachary last night, 49-34. So another Baton Rouge area team takes a fall. 49-34. Parkway kills Zachary in a shootout. So.
Oh, they went up in flames last night. Everybody in Baton Rouge went up in smoke.
But you know what, Eric?
With one exception.
And we're going to get to that right now.
Yeah.
So, but actually, for the last couple of years, Baton Rouge teams have been falling in the first round. So to advance this far says a lot. Now, I don't know if it's due to format, the way that the Louisiana High School the Athletic Association has designed its football classifications this year, or if the level of football in Baton Rouge is just improving.
Well, I think it's a little of both. I mean, you've seen a lot of studs. Like, remember the Advocate? The Advocate had a little insert talking about BR equals RB, and they had 4 stud running backs on there. There was
we have running backs.
Nick Brosette out of U-High, and then there was Dontrell Hilliard from Scotlandville, and 2 other young men. I just can't spit it out right now, but some real...
Probably Marasselin from Plaquemine.
Probably, yeah. If I were to guess. Right. Those would be my best guesses, and those are all high-profile recruits.
Yes.
So I think the talent level, just at a glance, appears to have stepped way up here in the Baton Rouge area. So anyway. We're going to take a short recess.
Yes. Before we go to recess, let me say that tonight is the U-High Parkview Baptist rematch at Parkview Baptist. The winner of this game will move on to the Superdome to take on John Curtis, who's the number 1 ranked team in that classification. I think last week I said that U-High was the number 1 ranked team. They're actually ranked number 2.
Okay, that adds up to me.
And John Curtis is in their 18th straight state championship.
Now, if I were maybe a year ago this time, I would have said something like, and the winner gets to be cannon fodder for John Curtis. But I will say that just having watched these guys, and I guess maybe maturing a little bit and not wanting to refer to high school students as cannon fodder, I think that, first of all, I think U-High is going to, just from having watched both teams this year, I think U-High is going to win that game. And I do think they're going to give John Curtis a fight. I don't think it's going to be a walk-in like it always is. So we're going to take a short recess. We'll be back with a guest from that one Baton Rouge team that's still alive and pumping very shortly. You are listening to Louisiana All American Sports. We are back live on Louisiana All American Sports, and as we mentioned last night, we did have one coach that survived the purge of Baton Rouge teams, and that was, of course, head coach Nick Mitchell of the Southern Lab Kittens, whose Kittens marched all the way up to Ouachita Parish to take on the Ouachita Christian Eagles, and they emerged victorious in a thrilling game that definitely, if you took heart medication, you might have wanted to wait to catch the game in the papers. Coach, how's it going this morning?
Doing pretty good, man. I appreciate you having me on. It was a tough game last night. Our guys fought hard, give hats off to Ouachita Christian. They played their butts off, but we came out, victorious in the end.
Coach, I guess, for folks who, first of all, I think anybody that follows high school football at least knows that part of the state has a reputation for tough football, even if you don't know the first thing about Ouachita Christian. Perry Perry Daniels is on the air with me.
Good morning, Coach.
And he had shared a stat with me. What was it? How many consecutive games?
Yeah, Coach, did you guys know going in that Ouachita Christian had won 26 straight games at home?
Mm-hmm. No, I didn't. I didn't find that out till about 4 o'clock this morning when my principal texted to me.
Wow.
I had no idea.
Wow. That is just an awesome feat that you guys had last night. And I'm going to be totally honest with you, Coach. We broadcast your U-High game earlier this season, and I left there just bewildered and really remorseful for you guys, feeling sorry for the type of season that I thought you were going to have.
Yeah.
So to me, I just want to say, man, that I think you've done a fantastic job coaching this year, and regardless of what happens this week coming up, you have done an outstanding job with that team for those guys to advance the way that you have.
I really do appreciate that, man. It's been a long road for us. And when you have young guys, you got to get them to understand how important the process is, and getting them to believe in each other and believe in themselves and believe in the coaching and believe in the brand of the school and what's been going on for so many years. And they took hold of what we were trying to tell them, and they worked their butts off to get to this point.
Great.
And I couldn't be more proud of my guys.
Great. Awesome.
So, Coach, let's jump into the game. I mean, I think the key to the game last night was you guys jumped out to a 20-0 lead. I think the world was stunned. Anybody outside of a Southern Lab uniform was probably stunned. Tell us how y'all, that was the key to the game. How'd y'all sucker punch them so quickly? I'll let you talk because I'm still speechless.
Well, going into the game, we knew that they had, 2 years worth of film. They had been studying us, and they have a very good coaching staff. And so what we did was we kind of changed up some formations that we did not ever show. And so, it gave us sort of, I guess, an element of surprise or whatever, but we were able to move the ball, through a couple different formations. And we gave the ball to Derek Tate, put the ball in our best playmaker's hands and said, okay, we're going to ride you. So you just go make the plays. And then our defense really stood strong early in the game. Forced a couple 3-and-outs, got a couple turnovers, missed a few interceptions that we should have had. So, we really jumped out. And I told my guys, before the game, the X's and O's don't matter. The toughness is going to matter in this game. And they came out and played tough football.
Coach, we at Louisiana All American Sports, we've been covering Derek Pate for a while, and we talk about him every week. That's one of the first things when we mention Southern Lab scores, we always give the Derek Pate report.
Right.
And if you could just talk about that young man's athleticism for a moment.
Derek Pate has the athletic ability to play football on Sundays. He's been given something by God that most guys his age does not have, and that is a second, a third, a fourth, and a fifth gear. And when he gets in the fifth gear, no one can catch him and no one can slow him down. He's a special young man. He's been with us for a little while now, and I'll tell you what, I'm glad to have him on my team.
I know that's right. And if you could talk about some of the other great athletes that you had that made an impact in last night's game and on this season.
Dorian Welch, our middle linebacker, he's also a sophomore. He's a 5'9", 5'8", maybe 200 pounds, soaking wet, but he's our catalyst on defense. He makes the checks and the calls. He makes sure our guys are lined up right. And he gives us an opportunity to play tough football by being in position correctly. Trey Epps and Jannard Robinson, 2 sophomore DBs who manned up the back half of the defense most of the season. We threw those guys in the fire last year against Ouachita Christian when they were freshmen, so they're kind of prepared now that they've seen it all and done it all. And also, along with Curlin Williams, Chad Smith, our starting right tackle, he was there with us last year as a freshman against Ouachita Christian. He stepped up and made a lot of key blocks in that first quarter and second quarter last night.
Good job. Okay. Well, Coach, who do you take on next week?
Actually, we got to go right back up to St. Frederick and Monroe, right down the street from Ouachita Christian. So we'll be making the trek back up to Monroe next Friday. Game starts at 7.
And who's that opponent?
St. Frederick.
St. Frederick.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, St. Frederick's
And,
right down the street.
and who's on the other side of the bracket?
Cedar Creek and Vermilion Catholic.
Vermilion Catholic.
That's going to be
Okay.
interesting. Wow. Well, Coach, first of all, thank you for giving us a few minutes of your time this morning. Best of luck. We'll definitely be following you guys, and we'll be rooting for you. And best of luck down the stretch for the rest of the playoffs.
Thank you, Coach, for joining us.
Thank you guys for having me. Appreciate everything you do for high school football, man.
Thank you.
All
Have a good
right.
one, Coach.
All right.
So that was Coach Nick Mitchell of the Southern Lab Kittens. We will be back in about 90 seconds with some brief highlights of that game, and then we'll be moving on to the world of college and professional sports. You are listening to Louisiana All American Sports on 96.9 FM WHYR LP Baton Rouge Community Radio. And see you in 60.
Smack talking trash about the past and the future. Bumping from the plains up to Tuscaloosa. Every dog in the state's named.
Yeah, I said, there's a college football game involving some cold steel. Iron Bowl coming up later today, and we will be talking about that here on Louisiana All American Sports. I think that's probably legitimately the second regular season game of the century that college football served up. Of course, the first being LSU Alabama from 2011, which LSU won, but nobody cared anyway. So let's go on. We're going to talk about real quick Southern Lab. The highlights of that game last night. We talked about Derek Payton. It really was the Derek Payton show. In that game last night, basically Southern Lab went up 20-0, as we discussed, and special teams were almost not so special and helped allow Ouachita Christian to get back in that game. But first, here's the Derek Pate show. Why tell you when I can show you? Actually, it's not the Derek Pate show. It's the first half highlights of Southern Lab. It's just that almost all of them are Derek Pate. Here we go, folks. Enjoy this for your consumption. Okay, and Microsoft Windows is not cooperating with us today. So, as that's kicking us out, we're going to just mosey on down then. We'll try to come back to that a little bit later if we have time, but let's move on. We have a lot of other action at the other levels of football. In the college game, we had, of course, yesterday, we had LSU hosting the Arkansas Razorbacks. LSU came away victorious, kind of pulled one out in the 11th hour with their freshman quarterback, Anthony Jennings, leading LSU on a 99-yard drive in the final 3 minutes of the game with one timeout remaining. LSU was able to finally, after playing a tit-for-tat game with Arkansas, was able to take the lead for good on a 49-yard pass to Traven Durrell on the play called Tsunami, which is basically a short route to Landry to kind of fool and suck in the defense, and they bid on it. Jarrett Collins of Arkansas bid on it, and Durrell got wide open, and 6 points. LSU took the lead for good and finally crushed the peasant revolt of the Arkansas Razorbacks. So we'll be discussing some of the short and long-term ramifications of LSU Arkansas in a moment. Do we have anything on Southern University before we take the deep dive into LSU? And by the way, I'm sorry, Perry. 225-343-9927. 225-343-9927 to get in on the conversation. I'm sorry, Perry. Fire away.
Hey, man, it's the biggest game in HBCU, Louisiana genre, man. It's the Bayou Classic weekend. You got thousands of people down in New Orleans. Of course, we've got some Southern information. We're going to talk a little Southern Grambling. We're going to do that right now. Grambling comes in this game. Their season has been well documented. They are currently 1-9 overall, 1-7 in the SWAC. The Southern Jaguars are 7-4, 6-2 in the SWAC. Southern's headed to the SWAC championship next week to take on the Jackson State Tigers in Houston, which you can hear.
We can hear it live on www.LouisianaAllAmericanSports.com. Coach Perry Daniels and I will be bringing you the SWAC championship. You'll be able to listen to that live and for free next week, Saturday, December the 7th, live from Houston, Texas on LouisianaAllAmericanSports.com. Keep checking the website for updates.
Eric, let me tell you about this rivalry.
What time is that game?
That game is a 7 o'clock game.
7 p.m.
Yes.
All right.
7 p.m. on LouisianaAllAmericanSports.com. All right. Now, the rivalry. Today is the 40th meeting of the Bayou Classic. This is how close this rivalry is. One team has won 20. The other has won 19 times.
Okay, pretty close. Pretty close. I think it's been a competitive series.
So, all my Jaguar fans out there, Grambling has us by one game. So, forget about this whole overlooking them to get to the SWAC championship. We need to even this series here.
Right.
You know, our North Louisiana brethren, they have a game on us, and they are going to continue to hold that over our heads. And we definitely don't want to make it a two-game lead with a team that has struggled the way Grambling has struggled this year.
Right.
You know,
all their problems are well documented with the walkout. They fired Doug Williams. The replacement was not warmly received. The students walked out. They forfeited the Jackson State game. If you're a big sports fan, you know the trials and tribulations they've experienced. If you're not, I'll just say it's been very rough up there. It's been very dark times in the land of gold and black.
And you know what? It's a shame that's what had to put that historic program back in the eyesight of America.
Pity. Yeah.
You know, here this program has more amazing statistic, Eric. This program in North Louisiana at Grambling State University has more football Hall of Famers than any program in the state of Louisiana.
I believe it because, you know, you look at, LSU's had a couple of big ones over the years, your Y.A. Tittle and Billy Cannon and the like. We've had some very good ones, but as far as Hall of Famers, very few at LSU, which is the flagship program. Meanwhile, you know, prior to 1970, if you had African-American talent, if you had a talented black player, they probably went to Grambling or Southern. A lot of them went to Grambling. Eddie Robinson was the Bear Bryant, was the Black Bear Bryant at that time, and they all went there, so that doesn't surprise you. At the top of my head, you got Mel Blount.
Right.
That's the first one that jumps to mind.
No. Mel Blount's at Southern University.
Oh, my bad. Oh, Lord. Probably had a guitar in front of me after that one. Whoops. But I know that
they had a lot.
They got a whole
Willie
lot.
Davis.
Right. Old man Willie. And, you know, of course, they produced Doug Williams, who had his own historic accomplishments, first African-American quarterback to start and win only one to win the Super Bowl still. On a lot of players, a lot of talent came out of there.
Right. So we want to see that program get back on its feet. We do know that Derek Pate's former teammate, Chad Williams, will participate in today's game for the Grambling State Tigers.
And he's played well this year. He's got some catches. I've looked at his statistics.
Right.
He's either starting or he's getting a lot of playing time.
Okay.
Good for him.
Okay.
Good for him. Very talented young man.
And Southern University quarterback Dre Joseph, last week we reported here that he passed Bryant Lee for the all-time leading passer in Southern University history. Well, today he is going for the all-time touchdown passing record, needing just 3 touchdowns to pass Lee's record.
Jay Joseph's an athlete, man. He's got a little arm on it. He has a very quick release considering the level of football he's playing.
He really does. And you know, he's just had a fantastic career up at Southern. Also in today's game, look out for Lenore Tillery and Kylam Favorite, both of which who played for Coach Robert Valdez, who's now currently coaching the West St. John Rams. They advanced to the semifinals, blowing out some team. I don't even realize who they blew out, man, but they scored 60 points last night. And they've made it to the semifinals, and Coach Valdez produces great talent. He coached Lenore Tillery when he was at McKinley, and Kylam Favorite his first couple of years at West St. John. So, Eric, all that being said, about both programs. I am going to go on a limb here and say that Southern University is going to do like LSU, and they are not going to let the inferior team pull off the upset. And Southern University is going to win this game today and head to Houston next week on a roll.
Well, I'll tell you what. I kind of like to live a little dangerously, and
all right.
kind of go out on a limb. I'm going to predict that the felines are going to win this game. No, I think Southern University is going to win this game. I expect Grambling to put out a fight. They do seem to have strengthened their resolve considerably after the whole fiasco with the forfeited game. But I think Southern is just playing way too well right now to drop that game. Even if they come out lethargic and maybe a little unprepared, it's the Bayou Classic. You've got to have. I think they're going to win.
Should be a great game.
I agree.
Should
totally
be a
agree.
great game.
So
let's move on.
Yes, sir. We got. So as we teased at the top of the break, we have LSU and Arkansas. They played yesterday. LSU pulled out the victory. A lot of things to take away from that game, really. First of all, Anthony Jennings, the freshman, you only get so much that you get to hear out of fall camp because they kind of. The coaches close off a lot of it. They give you just a peek, just a peek into what goes on in those fall camps. But a lot of the little reports that trickled out said, Anthony Jennings looks really good. He could perhaps surpass Stephen Rivers, who was a coveted recruit for the backup job. I heard that a whole lot in the offseason, and that kind of caught my attention, even though I didn't know the first thing about the young man from Marietta, Georgia. Well, he came in yesterday, and I think we may have gotten a glimpse into the future. Zach Mettenberger hyperextended his knee late in the game. And then Anthony Jennings came in off the bench, and here's another why I tell you that I can show you. I think Microsoft Windows is friends with us again, but here's the Anthony Jennings show.
Akron's got an update on Zach Mettenberger.
Well, Tim, the medical staff is looking at him. It is his left knee. They don't know the extent of the injury. His mom standing right behind him with a very concerned look on her face. Zach obviously in some pain, but we're not sure exactly the extent of what has happened to Zach Mettenberger's left knee.
Okay, thank you. Well, this young quarterback's going to have to throw the ball. We said it was going to be Zach Mettenberger's arm, but at some point Jennings is going to have to let this thing go. Perfect opportunity for Arkansas to get this ball back with some time. Play fake and roll. Great contain. Over the middle. He's got it. At the 19-yard line. Dylan Gordon on a first down. Out of the shotgun. Lost that one ahead to Landry. Pretty good idea to find number 80. How he manages to continually get open is incredible to me. Don't get in this bend, but don't break philosophy. He can run. He's a tremendous athlete, and he sets sail. All the way to midfield. First down, Tigers. Jennings becoming the story. A 21-yard gain. Road on a short week, the day after Thanksgiving. No, it's Black Friday. It would indeed be that for LSU if they were to lose this game today. Third down and 10. After the timeout, LSU's last one available to them. Jennings looking for Durrell. He's wide open. Touchdown. Draven Durrell. How about that?
So you are listening to Louisiana All American Sports on 96.9 FM WHYR LP, Baton Rouge Community Radio. That was commentary, a live commentary from the CBS Sports broadcast. So as you can see, Anthony Jennings came out cold and really pulled out the hot victory. And that could be a glimpse of things to come.
Man, I am excited about Anthony Jennings. We played back then they didn't want me to Mike Jones today for Anthony Jennings because now everybody's going to be all over you, young man. The way you played yesterday, we're looking forward to the bowl game. Zach Mettenberger had a great season. He did well.
Outstanding. Looking forward to seeing him next year.
Right. You know what, though? I think that Les Miles prefers a mobile quarterback. I don't know why I get that feeling. But I think, it was Zach Mettenberger's turn. This guy was just a freshman. You didn't want to put that much pressure on him this early in his career.
Right. No, yeah, I agree. But I'll tell you, sometimes the situation chooses you, and that's just what happened yesterday. And we talked about this last week, how LSU is, like every elite college program really in any sport, but particularly in football and basketball, how it's becoming a carousel now. I'm just looking at the people who either will not or might not be there next year. Alfred Blue. She sees seashells by the seashore. There we go. Alfred Blue, senior, he'll be gone. Craig Lawson, safety, he'll be gone. He's a senior. Zach Mettenberger obviously will be gone. J.C. Copeland, fullback, senior, he's gone. Odell Beckham is a junior. I don't see what's in it for him to stick around for a senior year. He's a junior. Ego Ferguson, defensive tackle, that guy is a beast. He's crazy if he doesn't go to the NFL.
Right.
6'3", 308 pounds, and in prime athletic condition. Terrence McGee, the running back, he's a junior.
He should stay. Unless we sign the young man out of St. Augustine.
Well, yeah, if we get Leonard Fournette out of St. Aug, then all bets are off. Right, and there was some discussion about that in the newspaper. If he came, what's the point? So he might be gone. Kenny Hilliard Jr., I think he should stay, but, with his size and his speed, he might be gone. He's Lyle Collins, offensive tackle. He's a stud. He's crazy if he doesn't go. I think he's gone.
That's the biggest one, I think.
I agree, and that's a big hole to fill, too. Although the backup center filled in pretty well yesterday for LSU, and they had a backup, the right tackle, I believe, filled in pretty well in that final drive. Jarvis Landry, wide receiver, junior, he's gone. And, even though Anthony Johnson, number 90, junior defensive tackle, didn't put up gaudy statistics, his measurables are something else. He might be gone. That's a lot of talent. I think I just named, 10, 11 people, 12 people. That's half what you put on a football field at one time. So LSU cannot afford to rebuild. They've got to reload. I was really happy with seeing the new bullet in the chamber there with Anthony Jennings yesterday, at least from what little we saw.
Right. They do a great job recruiting. So they reload. They're 10 wins after having to reload from last year's exodus.
Well, they have a shot at 10 wins, right?
Yes.
Yeah, they have a shot at 10 wins. They have the bowl game.
Right.
It's probably going to be your Chick-fil-A Bowl, which that should be a win if they're focused, unlike last year. Or maybe they get lucky and get a Cotton Bowl or a Capital One Bowl, depending on how things shake out. But definitely they have, I think, with the goal of 10 wins, they'll be focused. Whereas last year with Clemson, I think they were ready to go home and pop the bottles for New Year's.
Right.
So, do we have a special guest calling in pretty soon?
We do, man. Waiting on him to call right now.
All right. Well, while we're doing that, I did want to at least give we like to give the kids their 15 minutes, and I'd be remiss if we did not let you hear. We had Southern Labs head coach Nick Mitchell on earlier. How they basically will play you a real quick music bed about how they built up a lead in the first half and how they defended it at the end. The audio was produced by Ouachita Christian School. They did a great job, and we're very thankful that they made it possible for us to enjoy this exciting high school football action. So let's give our shout out to Mr. Pate. Then we'll have some action where the men get paid coming up very shortly. You are listening to 96.9 listening to Louisiana All American Sports on 96.9 FM WHYR LP Baton Rouge Community.
Looks like shotgun, a power eye to his left. He's going to try the left side. He makes one Eagle defender miss, another defender miss. Missed tackles, 2 on the play. He's going to have more than 7 minutes and 28 seconds left to play in the first quarter. Derek Pate, listed as a running back, is lined up at quarterback in the Wildcat formation, and this time they try the Eagle. He's going to slip through Saul, and he's going to go in for the touchdown. It looked like we had his forward progress stop, but there's no whistles as he breaks right up the middle and is going to go in for the touchdown.
I don't know how he got out of there. It looked like we had 5 guys around him at the line of scrimmage. Somehow he slipped through and was able to just become untouched. And there was the whole team was right there with him. And I thought they were going to blow a whistle. Maybe Sonny had a chance to see what happened down there.
Coach, what's going on down there?
Well, if you'll notice, the last few plays we've been trying to strip the ball from the running back, and we had more guys trying to strip the ball instead of the first guy making a pretty good tackle, holding up, and then the second guy doing the stripping. We were all just stripping, and he slipped out of it, guys. We just never put a hat on him and never made a really good tackle on him, and he just kept turning and slipped away.
Still nice run that time out of number 17, running back, playing quarterback so far tonight, number 17, Derek Pate, as he takes it in from 20 yards out. And the Kittens put the first points on the board, yard line, and now they go back to the power I. Except this time you're going to have Kirtland Williams in at tailback. Williams is going to get the snap from center, and he's going to be short of the goal. No, they're going to give him a touchdown. As Williams is going to take it over the right side of the Southern Lab offensive line, and he's going to carry it in from 2 yards out, and the Kittens are going to increase their lead 14-0. And the formation is the same. Number 17, Derek Pate, lined up at quarterback with a power I formation to his left. He tries the left side. He's got running room. He's across the 40. He's across the 50. He's across the 30, the 20, and he's going to be dropped at about the 15-yard line as Akeem Henderson makes a touchdown-saving tackle. That's going to be a huge gain on the play for the Southern Lab Kittens.
Yeah, they're just killing us with that, David. That time they line the legs out.
Second down and 16. Veal out of the gun. Gets a high snap from center, pulls it down. Going to give this one to number 5. He's going to make an Eagle defender miss, and now it's going to be up to Akeem to catch him, but he's not going to catch him until he's in the end zone for another Southern Lab touchdown. 8 minutes and 27 seconds. The Kittens are going to take a 20-0 lead over Ouachita Christian. 40-yard line is going to get his leg into it, and does. He kicks a nice ball. That's going to travel deep. It's going to be close. Now it's going to stop at about the 1-yard line, and the Eagles special teams are going to answer the bell. Huge job. You called it, Saul. I don't know that you could have scripted that one any better as Whit Chapman kicks it down. It looks like he's going to be dropped inside the 5-yard line, or actually they'll spot it right at the 5, where the Kittens will take over first down and 10 at their own 5-yard line. And here's where we need the Eagle defense to respond. Tate lines up to punt this one on the end zone line, as close to it as he is. He's going to get a nice punt off, though.
Not a good punt at all.
Well, it's going to travel out of the end zone. It's going to come to rest. Wow, you're exactly right. That ball's going to stop at the 20. Get a snap from center. Going to play action this one, and he's got all day. Quinn's going to keep this one himself, and he's going to go in for the touchdown. Touchdown, number 17, Quinn Graves, as he keeps that one himself. So it looked like the counter pass. Everybody bought it, and Quinn's going to keep that one himself, calls his own number, and he's going to go in for the score with 7 minutes and 15 seconds left to play. Graves gets a snap. Looking for somebody in the flat. Now he's going to have pressure. He's going to throw this one. It's going to be complete, and that's going to be Slaughter, but Slaughter's in bounds. They're going to keep winding the clock inside of 35 seconds.
Here, you got to spike the football.
Now we're at 10 seconds. Well, I talked about it, Saul. The season may be coming down to one play. Well, this one is officially going to come down to one play. 10 seconds left on the clock. You got to have this 4th down conversion. 9 seconds left to go on the play clock. Graves out of the gun. Plenty of time. 3 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Quinn gets a good snap. He's looking downfield. He's got a receiver. That's Slaughter. Slaughter's across the 35, across the 40,
get out of bounds,
the 30, the 20, the 10, and that's going to end this football game, as Jake is going to be brought down in bounds, and there's not going to be any time left on the clock.
Well, they're talking about it, David. He went down when there was a second left on the clock.
Well, the official is indicating 1 second left to play.
That's right.
The Kittens do come back out.
You got to get lined up, though. As soon as they said it, they're going to start it. Now they call timeout. Thank goodness.
Timeout to get their players on the field, and the Eagles have life. Saul, I talked about no nail biters up until tonight. Well, this is officially a nail biter. Next, join him in the backfield. Going to send Slaughter in motion across the formation. This is the play call of the decade. Graves throws this one into the end zone, and it's going to be incomplete. Not sure who we had coverage on, but it looked like it was intended for Chowns. And I'm not sure, Saul, it just wasn't able to get a handle on it. And that's going to end the 2013 season for the Eagles, as they're going to come up a little short, literally 1 play away from tying the game, but they're going to fall tonight in the quarterfinals to Southern Lab 20-14.
I told you. What did I tell you? Didn't I tell you? 'Cause I told you. And when did I tell you? A long time ago. And what did I say will happen when I told you? Exactly what just happened.
Just from having seen Parkview Baptist earlier this year in the Port Allen game, I think they have a few soft spots in their armor, and U-High doesn't look like they have any. So if U-High can win that game, I think they could possibly give Curtis or Evangeline a run for it. Perry, any other thoughts on that game? On this, I'm going to go on record. Y'all going to probably want to tar and feather me, Tiger fans. I think Texas A&M is going to win today. Not happy about it, not proud of it, but that's just what I see.
Wow. You've left me speechless.
Holy on the.
That's unbelievable. You guys write this date down. Today is November the 23rd. The 23rd, 2013.
Remember it. Write it down. Take a picture. I don't give a...
Hatfield picked against the Tigers.
Well, you know, sometimes the snow
At home, he picked against the Tigers.
Sometimes the snow comes down in June. Sometimes the sun goes round the moon. But I don't think LSU's saving the best for last.
Although I do think Mettenberger will have a big game today and put up some impressive numbers.
I think so. I mean, A&M's defense, that's the one, but one bright spot. A&M's defense is a step below ours, and we have a lot of defensive talent with a lot of mental lapses. Texas A&M really does not have an elite defensive talent by SEC standards. So
I'm going to go on record and say that I agree with you that Texas A&M and Chinese football are going to leave Baton Rouge today with the victory. I think it's just too much offense. The LSU defense is just a little too bad.
But I'll tell you, that is going to be fun to watch, because you know Baylor's going to air it out and put up tons of offense and big scoring plays. I think the Saints are going to win that game. If they can rip that off, if somehow the football gods can smile upon the Saints and they can rip off a win in Seattle, you got this on record. If the Saints do that and don't have a meltdown, don't have an injury to Drew Brees, and clinch home field advantage throughout the NFC playoffs, I think they're going to the Super Bowl. Speaking of the Saints, they have that game coming up next Monday night against the Seattle Seahawks. That is going to be, in my opinion, the de facto, what I'm going to call the National Football Conference regular season championship. Which could ultimately determine the real NFC championship. Noel Jackson, music satisfaction. As good as they are, the Patriots are reeling after that very strange loss on Sunday Night Football. On Monday Night Football on the last play of the game. I think they're going to be focused, and it's just hard to win in Foxborough. I think Tom Terrific is going to get back on the horse, and the Patriots win that one.
I agree with you.